Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very special and recurring podcast here for Last Minute Continue, the Last Minute Cast, with myself, John Turbo Finley, here on iTunes. And this is going to be a new kind of like monthly podcast for the network, where I'm me, along with other Last Minute Continue crew members, will spend about an hour or so talking about various things regarding things like movies, games, other forms of media, wherever takes the kind of like interest of what they want to talk about. And for this inaugural episode, cast as such, it's just gotta be myself. Yeah, so you got me for about an hour talking about all the things that got my attention for the month of July 2019. So to start off with, we have I think the biggest thing that happened to me this month was me going down for CoxCon 2019. CoxCon, I've been there a couple of times before. I mainly go there with Pete Nevikov, aka Titans Creed, who obviously has his group of friends. But not only am I, good friends with his friends, I actually was able to go there this year and be, friends with other people. Mainly that of the Last Minute Continue. Not Last Minute Continue, sorry. That One Video Gamer Patreon group. Some of the UK kind of like residents, European residents, we'll say, because there were a couple of people who are outside the UK who came to CoxCon. We got to, get together, hang out hang out for the stint of the convention, and we had a blast. We had fun playing various, card games, video games, particularly that, I had my Switch. We played some Mario Kart. We played some Smash Brothers. It was good fun. What was it? The card game that was played a lot was Red Flags, which is kind of like Cards Against Humanity, but it's like, it's like a dating kind of like style game and whatnot. But regardless, granted, overall, there wasn't really much going on during CoxCon this year around. But I still ended up having a good time, mainly because of the amount of people that I was kind of like interacting during the event. And of course, I was there mostly for Gerard Khalil, the completionist, because obviously big supporter of his work. Always want to find time to meet up with him face to face one more time. And CoxCon has been like the best opportunity for me to do that, really. So there was one downside to it. It's like at CoxCon, they had like a couple of booths of like games to play and whatnot. And for some reason, I don't know how they did it, but for some reason, some representative of Marvelous, the game studio, game publisher or whatever, I don't know who Marvelous are. I think they're a publisher, not a developer. But or it could be a developer. I can't remember. But for some reason, they had Senran Kagura. What was it? Peach Ball, I think they call it. It's the pinball game for Switch, and they had it on. They had like a little sort of kind of like booth at CoxCon, but there was no one there. It's like it wasn't there. There was nothing there for the majority of the convention. Like the guy who was running it, I only saw him one time. And that was just during a point where I was kind of like oversaw it, and it was like, that yeah, the new Senran Kagura game's being showcased here. All right, I'll make sure to come back and play it sometime. Came back later, the guy's not there. The demo unit is switched off, and it just like couldn't get a chance to play it. But speaking of that Senran Kagura game, I haven't played it yet, and even the other Senran Kagura game that came out on Switch that's also now available on PC, the kind of like dating sim, I think it's called Relaxations or something like that. I can't remember, but those are games that are on the chopping block of games that I need to get through sometime down the line. There's been a ton of games that I haven't played, but well, I might as well talk about. Actually, no. Before I talk about games and whatnot, I want to talk more about CoxCon. I really loved CoxCon. Like being able to meet up with all with friends, and also making new friends as well, which Jesse Cox endorsed heavily during the convention, and I followed his word essentially, and made some good friends. Whatnot. It's like what was it? Names are eluding me just now, but I think it's like most of the newer ones that I met. Obviously, I think trying to remember. I think Morgan. Yeah, Morgan. I think her name was. Along with her husband, Carlos. I think it's Carlos or Carl. It's like either or. And of course, she was actually the one who organized the whole Patreon, that one video gamer Patreon meetup at CoxCon, and she did a banger of a job of like getting us together to kind of like meet up, and then have a good time at CoxCon. Had fair few drinks and whatnot. I was drinking quite a lot, though. At CoxCon, I did kind of like overdid it myself at the gym. I was running on the treadmill, and I kind of like screwed up my leg, my left leg, and I think I've like pulled the tendon or whatever. It was like I was having so much pain going through my leg. So I was walking through the entirety of CoxCon on a really agonizing leg for the good majority of it. And but that didn't stop me. Hell, it didn't stop me from putting Davis on my shoulders and keeping him up on my shoulders for a picture. If you follow me on Twitter at TurboXLR, you would have seen that picture of me with the Scary Game Squad of Davis, Alex, and Gerard. And to make things interesting, I wanted to have Davis on my shoulders. Like kind of like Luchasaurus with Jungle Boy from AEW. Kind of like, obviously, I wasn't gonna tell them that because obviously they don't know wrestling and whatnot. So, and obviously Davis would have no idea what I would be referring to and whatnot, but hey. But no, overall, had a great time. Also met Cat Eckers for the first time and met his family. I got a picture with them. That was awesome. And yeah, got a bunch of stuff. Got a commission done by Jesse's, main artist guy. I forgot, his name eludes me at the moment. And I followed him on Twitter as well because I couldn't find his @tag originally. And then he liked the picture that I posted off his commission and whatnot, and started following him back and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, overall, obviously, can't wait to go to the next one. If Gerard goes back again, and if not, I might actually go there in general for just like friend hangout and whatnot, because I can't do it all the time. It's like I have to pick and choose my travels for going to events and stuff like that. So just need to be very careful. So let's move on to gaming now. in terms of like games, I've not really played that much. I mean, I've been replaying a lot of stuff. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TurboDrive Live, you would have seen me start on a few games, particularly that of being that of playing Super. Actually, this was because I'm recording this on the Saturday afterwards. I actually first started playing Super Mario World for the first time. Like, I've never beaten or played Super Mario World at all. I played Super Mario 3, I've played Super Mario 64, but I've never played Super Mario World. So it's kind of like interesting for me to kind of like see, play that for the first time and whatnot. And boy, if you watched back that stream, you would see that I was going into full turbo meltdown at one point. It was what was it? I think it was Roy's Castle, which was like Castle 5, and that infuriated me. It was just one room, one continuous room, and I couldn't get past it, and I was constantly dying and dying and dying. It was absolutely infuriating. But no, I eventually got past it. Haven't finished it though, so that'll be for next month. I'll talk more about that. In terms of new games that I've played, the recently released Kill la Kill, the game IF. I actually have an understanding of what the IF stands for, and that's called iframes, or invincibility frames. Because frankly, the AI is cheap at having invincibility frames when they're in a combo, and I want to get a blooming combo in them myself, or like in on that character. For some reason I go right through them, and I get stuck in their combo. Doesn't make any sense. Music's banger though. Like the music. Of course, it's got some obviously typical kind of like tracks from the series itself. It's like "Don't Lose Your Way," and all that. But the original soundtrack, which I have on, I actually have on disc because I got the limited edition version of Kill la Kill on PS4, which comes with a disc of the original soundtrack of the game, and it doesn't have the, from what I can tell, it doesn't have the, notable kind of like tracks from the anime that's part of the soundtrack, because that's the anime soundtrack, not the game soundtrack. But no, I mean, and granted, the reviews have been coming out. It's been coming out to mediocre reviews, and yeah, I can understand why. But in terms of like hype and whatnot, it does have some kind of like charm to it. It's just at times it's a bit meh. So I can see it from both angles, but banger music. Questionable gameplay at times. Art style's good. If not a bit choppy, because it is obviously going for the style of the anime itself. So yeah, but all in all, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not like terrible. It's not unplayable. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know how you thought of the game. Have you been playing Kill la Kill, the game IF? Let me know. Post a comment in below, or shoot me a tweet at TurboXLR. I'd like to get your feedback on it. Other games that I was playing in the lead, for this month, or finishing up on my stream at twitch.tv/TurboDrive Live. I finally beaten Breath of the Wild Master Mode. Yeah, Master Mode. Took me a while. Obviously, I just thought, I worked on it. I actually gave myself the end of the year to beat Master Mode, and funnily enough, I was able to beat it in half of that. So, almost just over half. So, yeah, I'm kind of pleased with myself. I'm currently working on the N64 version of Ocarina of Time Master Quest, not the 3DS version, because apparently, well, the 3DS version does have its differences, being that it's also the overworld is mirrored in that. But no, I wanted to play the N64 version, just to have a little kind of like variety and whatnot. And I picked that up by buying the limited edition of Wind Waker on GameCube. That was quite the find that I was able to get at a used store, used game store, or a used product store. Actually, it's not. It does various other things other than games. It does DVDs and Blu-rays and all that. But no, I mean, getting through that, and can't really think of anything else for games. I think there might have been like something else I might have played this month. I'm trying to think, but I'm drawing a blank at the moment. It's like I'm sure I've been playing. I've played. I've played a lot of kind of like games that I've been playing for months and months and months, like Dead by Daylight, and just recently got back into playing Left 4 Dead 2 again. So yeah, look forward to what's gonna be happening next month, because there are some games next. There is actually a game next month, although it's at the very end of the month, so I probably won't get a chance to talk about it for next month's podcast. But stay tuned for that, and be on the ear, keep the ear out for when I get to talk about that in a future podcast. On to movies now. Obviously, I do devil going to the movies a couple of times. Like, I know this month alone had a lot of kind of like movies to show. Of course, last month, obviously, I got to watch Avengers Endgame, and of course, in the news, that obviously broke, the record for, highest grossing movie of all time. So kudos to that. But this month alone, I got to see and went to see the ending of Phase 3 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, being that of Spider-Man Far From Home. I actually enjoyed it. It was a very fun kind of like movie to go and see. Nice little kind of like wrap up to the Phase 3 saga of, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. And yeah, although granted, there has been a lot of kind of like criticism to it, and I don't know why. Because now, granted, yeah, the whole the trailers and whatnot, they did make it look like it was gonna be like all this, that, and next thing and whatnot. And I saw a mile off things like in trailers, you find that this, like Mysterio. By the way, spoilers. And you've had a month. You should have seen it by now. Come on. The movie, obviously, the movie showcases Mysterio in this kind of like, he's like from this alternate dimension and whatnot. That's utter bullshit. It's like, in this movie alone, it's like you find that was a whole bunch of bullshit for the for the movie's kind of like premise and stuff like that, for this character to be part of this, coming from another universe because of the snap, or what they call it. I think they call it the blink or the blip. I forgot what they called it in Spider-Man Home, Far From Home, but yeah, it's you kind of knew that the whole the events of Infinity, Endgame even, didn't really affect the MCU that much at that point anyway. But regardless, overall, I still enjoyed it. I can't mind why anyone would have any kind of like criticisms to it. I feel as though it was a really fun movie, nice little kind of like, you know, movie to kind of like end that Phase 3 saga of movies. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Phase 4 when that starts up. I don't. I think the what was it? The next movie that's coming out that's part of Phase 4 that'll start Phase 4. I think is Black Widow. Although it's Black Widow's obviously not following up the events after, you know, Endgame and all that. It's actually before, so it's kind of like you know, a prelude. You know, it's kind of like takes place afterwards or beforewards. Sorry. But no, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also interested if the price is right. I might actually get myself Disney Plus, the new streaming service done by Disney, to watch these new Marvel shows and whatnot. That'll be coming out periodically in the next few years. But no, in terms of the movies, no, I'm going to watch all the movies. In fact, what was it? Eventually, I want to get all three phases currently on Blu-ray. Hopefully, you know, because there's a couple of entries in the Blu-ray collection that I actually don't own. Like I haven't watched or owned Thor: The Dark World or the original 4, actually. I think, now that I mention it. I don't own Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't own Doctor Strange. Yeah, so I missed out on a couple of you know, movies. So I might need to, you know, rectify that sometime down the line. Other movies that actually I don't think I've seen any other movies. I mean, the only other things that I've been watching and whatnot has been a lot of anime. There's been, you know, I've still got a Crunchyroll account, although granted, I'm not gonna have one for long, or at least like a paid one anyway, because yeah, I can't. It's gotta be. Well, they've gone to price hike the membership recently, so you know, I can't afford that. But it's also looking like that I might not afford my WWE network account anymore either. So yeah, only time will tell on that matter. But you gotta love it. You gotta love it when, you know, funds is a major factor for your enjoyment on all these pieces of media and stuff like that. But it happens. In terms of the anime that I have actually seen, we can probably say that you know, there tends to be a lot of crap on Crunchyroll. Yeah, I can't really suggest anything. I know a lot of people have been talking about what was it, Dr. Stone? Everyone's banging on about that and whatnot. So yeah, I might look into that. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but no. I recently finished finished up watching One Punch Man season 2. That ended you know, this month, and yeah, I actually enjoyed it. Although some people didn't, and some people had their criticisms to it, and it's understandable. But you know, the whole concept of One Punch Man is that you're obviously, you know, you want to have like more development for the characters surrounding Saitama, rather than Saitama himself, because you don't find that, you know, Saitama is the strongest, you know, hero of all time, and he can kill everything in one punch and whatnot. But and that's the joke, you know. Although granted, and granted, the first season was there to kind of like establish his kind of like character and whatnot. So we didn't really need to elaborate all that we know from the first season into the second season. In the second season, we needed to elaborate more on the, you know, the other characters, and then have a plot arc for those characters. But you know, some people didn't see it that way, and it's fair enough. It's, you know, however you like to perceive the kind of like the series, whatnot. I know a lot more people like Psycho Mob 100 more, but I have not watched that series, and I actually enjoyed One Punch Man a lot more, personally myself. But other anime, it's like the other anime that I was watching or have been watching. It's still ongoing. The redid series of Fruit Baskets. Fruit Basket. Is it Fruit Basket or Fruit Baskets? I think it's Baskets. I've been enjoying that. It's a nice, heartfelt, emotional kind of like anime. I never watched the original the original run when it first came out, and I know I can easily get that on DVD quite well. I mean, there's a DVD copy at my nearest HMV store, but it's like I've been enjoying this new series, and of course, it's brilliantly animated. It's brilliantly told. The characters are, you feel the emotion for those characters and whatnot, and it really is touching. It's almost harkening back with me and my connection with Clannad and Clannad After Story. Like if you thought those were, granted those are like the biggest gut punchers in anime, especially After Story. Like Clannad After Story, do not watch that series if you have if you have like if you can get easily like teared up and whatnot, do not watch that series. It's like that would literally leave you in tears, more so than anything. But no, Fruit Baskets has its moments, and it has its comedic moments as well. It's that nice balance of like comedy and drama and emotion and whatnot. It's a nice balance, and definitely check it out if you haven't watched any of the episodes so far. I know now me myself, with my anime, I do watch just through Crunchyroll. I know a lot of people want to have a dub version of any of the anime that is being aired. And Funimation is obviously the big one there. Now, I know Funimation has its, streaming service, but I'm not sure what it's kind of like it's being, like what the kind of like time difference between when a episode is subbed and aired on Crunchyroll compared to when it's dubbed and ready to be aired on Funimation. And I know there's also licensing issues as well, which I'm always pissed off at how licensing screws over like the enjoyment of watching anime and stuff like that. It's really annoying. Speaking of watching anime, there's another anime that finally it got released on Blu-ray, and it's finally complete here in the UK. It's Hellsing Ultimate. I recently just got the complete collection of on Blu-ray for Hellsing Ultimate, and I haven't actually sat down and watched it. I have watched volumes 9 and 10 through Crunchyroll subbed, but I would like to obviously watch it in dubbed eventually, because I did actually love the cast that they had for the dub, both from the TV show, like the original TV series of Hellsing, and then Hellsing Ultimate. I just wanted to have that on, like a full complete collection, because I hate it when anime comes out here and it's incomplete, and that's very prevalent with my beef with Manga Entertainment when they released Fist of the North Star and they only had like 40 episodes dubbed or whatever, and they released a DVD pack, and it's not even a complete, like, they have one arc completed, but they go like not even like a third into the second arc, and that's it. that is shitty. It's like, it's completely shitty when companies do that, where they take a license for an anime and don't go all the way with it, and it's really annoying. And am I expecting Fist and North Star to ever get fully released here in the UK? Probably not. It's too old of a series now. No one's gonna bother to fucking, dig it out of the archive and remaster it and give us a UK version, or whoever would want to license a UK version. Yeah, it's being too hopeful. Another anime that I picked up as well was the second part to Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. Yes, I hate it when people or publishers for these anime titles, they release like series in parts. Like I like when they release a series, like if they have like a season or a series and it's complete, and they release a complete version on DVD or Blu-ray, that's great. But when you separate it into parts, that's kind of a bullshit thing. I mean, granted, Dragon Ball is bad for that. Like Dragon Ball Super, I know, is going through parts and whatnot, and it's going through its arcs. But of course, that's a very long series. That's like, over 200. I think it's like over 200 episodes for Super, and it's even more on with the original series, because I've got the original series DVDs there. But the problem back with the original DVDs. When they were releasing here in the UK, they were based on the 2007 2008 series of like Dragon Ball box sets, or like Dragon Ball Z box set box can't talk here box sets that were released in the US like years and years and years ago, and it even has the trailers for those on that. And Manga Entertainment only just picked up the bloomin' the licensing rights to publish it and distribute it in the UK. And this was like years and years and years ago when they released it. And it's really annoying how that was the case, where you waited so long for this anime to come out here. And essentially, it's just taking what was done in the US like years and years ago. Although nowadays it's a lot more like up to date. It's like keeping up, more, less of a time difference between a US release and a UK release in terms of publishing. But with Cardcaptor Sakura, sorry, I think I hit the mic there. For Cardcaptor Sakura, we now have the Clear Card arc, the Clear Cards series, or at least what's available right now, like the first season. I don't know if a second season is in production and whatnot. I would like to have a second season production, because I've been reading the manga of Clear Card. Hopefully gotta get to volume, I think, what was it, volume 6 down the line, hopefully. No, I really hope for a second season. But what I really want here in the UK, I want a Cardcaptor Sakura full series, like the original anime run, on DVD and Blu-ray here in the UK. We don't have that. And in the US, they whoever licensed it in the US, they released like a really awesome Blu-ray set, and they redubbed the anime, and it's all of the episodes. None of them have cut. No censoring, no bullshit and whatnot. It's just all available on Blu-ray and DVD. And granted, it was expensive as all hell, because apparently the license is just so expensive for some reason. And yet, Manga Entertainment, with all of their money coming in from the bloody sales and the kind of like all the stuff from Dragon Ball, particularly Dragon Ball, because it's Dragon Ball that's keeping Manga Entertainment afloat, essentially, and their partnership with Funimation and whatnot. But what they would do, I would like them to at least try to get the original series localized, release a Region 2 version of the series here in the UK, please. It's like, I would really like that. Manga entertainment. If you're listening to this, which you're probably not, but no. Granted, it's like that's just one thing and whatnot. So yeah, that's us for this last minute continue cast podcast. LMC Cast. I don't know what we're gonna be calling this for this going forward. Let us know what you want the show, this podcast for Last Minute Continue to be called. Do you want it to be called Last Minute Cast or Last Minute Continue Cast, LMC Cast, LM Cast? Where, we'll probably put a poll up on the Last Minute Continue Twitter, which you can follow at Last Minute Continue on Twitter. Also, be sure to obviously follow us here on iTunes, as well as, other social, other kind of like media outlets like the Last Minute Continue YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Last Minute Continue, as well as checking out our other sites, including our other podcasts. If you like the sound of my voice on this podcast, and you like wrestling, go check out the Last Minute Kickout podcast that I co-host with Pete and Kevin for our different kind of like wrestling review shows. And you can check that out by going to youtube.com/Last Minute Kickout. And you can also follow the Twitter account for Last Minute Kickout, which is at Faces in Peril. So you can go check that out as well. But yeah, that's us for this episode, this inaugural episode of the the monthly Last Minute Continue podcast for the month of July 2019. A lot shorter than I said it would be, mainly because it's just myself talking into a mic. Hopefully we'll get more Last Minute Continue crew members on for their, kind of like experiences for the next month and see what they have to say in terms of like gaming, movies, various other forms of media, whatever floats their boat to talk about here on the podcast. But for now, I have been John Turbo Finley here for Last Minute Continue. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next month for August 2019's edition of the Last Minute Continue podcast. Take care.